The 17th International Konya Music Festival is generally held in the Mevlana Cultural Center. Due to the COVID pandemic, the festival will be presented on a digital platform this year. I've gathered some thoughts on sacred music to share with you. Kum kum ya habibi kam tanam. Awake, awake, my beloved, how you sleep. The rhythm of the heart is the same for every person. Therefore, the zikr Allah resounds in every heart. We are all connected. Music is a universal language, and as such, can unite the world's population. In Muslim countries, one hears the azan, the call to prayer that is publicly chanted 5 times each day. Mystical music awakens the soul of the listener. Other musical sounds can make you sad, put you to sleep, or entice you to battle. Sound falls into the harmony of the world created by Allah. In Plato's Phaedrus, it states in a dialogue that Socrates, that Thuth invented writing in Egypt, creating a visual interpretation of sound that he thought would be an aid to memory and wisdom. Further in the dialogue, it is revealed that those who acquire this art will cease to exercise their memory, become forgetful, and rely on writing to bring things to their remembrance by external signs instead of on their own internal resources. Ordinary music, Western music, can enhance the desires of a listener and cause them to live in an imaginary world of romance, war, and unfulfilled dreams, devoid of the spiritual harmony of the world. Mystical music awakens your being and personal vision to experience the harmony of the world. The reflection in the glass can only exist if there is an object. The Quran was a sonoro revelation that was later visually interpreted using a script called Kufic, devised for that purpose. It is encouraged to read the Quran aloud so it can be both seen and heard. Hearing always precedes seeing when referred to in the Quran. The Nubian musician Hamza el-Din refers to the sound of the call to prayer as having different tonalities according to the time of day it is chanted, or the geographical location of the chanter. The sound of the call in the desert is different when chanted on a mountain or by the sea. The early morning azan differs from the call at noon or night. The sound influences the muezzin as well as the listener. Human sound comes from one's breath. Mystical music uplifts the soul and brings the listener closer to Allah. In the Sufi lodges, music and ilahis often accompany the zikr and the chanting of the sacred names. The voices and the breath of the dervishes meld with the sacred music, evoking a feeling of otherworldliness and an opening of the hearts of the dervishes. Sacred music, although heard with the ear, is felt by the heart. The tone and rhythm touch the soul, which is why music and breath can heal physical, psychological, and spiritual ailments. The heartbeat of the mother resounds in the womb as sacred music for the developing child, who hears the sound and vibration as a repetition of the name of Allah. This is why it is a comfort for the child to hear the name of Allah softly chanted in its ears shortly after experiencing the pain of the birth canal. Several years ago, the 100-year-old floor of an Istanbul durga had eroded in places, and a new floor was being installed. the Mirsha told the carpenters to save the old wood. The kanun player, who was one of the musicians on the evening when dervish music was researched at the Durga, had the idea that he could make a kanun using wood from the old floor. He went to his music master and asked if this was possible. The music master agreed. After some time, the new kanun was completed, and the musician brought it to the Durga on an evening when Ilahi's compositions praising Islam and the Prophet Muhammad were chanted. The Zikr Allah began, and as soon as the chanting of the divine names began, the kanun made a deep groaning sound without being touched. A finely tuned instrument made from wood, permeated for years with the names of Allah, resonated a sympathetic sound without being played. Just as in the zikr, the repetition of Allah, the striking of a sympathetic chord travels from heart to heart in the circle of dervishes and allows access to the sacred. Mystical music is an expression of the law of vibration. The secret of the azan, the Islamic call to prayer, is not in the words. It is in the vibrations of the sound. The first muezzin was Bilal, a former slave who was a close companion of the Prophet Muhammad. All sacred music in Islam was born during the first azan under a burning sun in Medina, the city of light. Music has also been used in the healing process of physical and psychological ailments. Music therapy has been known to balance blood pressure and pulse counts. In Turkey, there are hospitals dedicated to the healing of patients with mental problems by the use of certain types of music, indicating that music, like meditation, can alter the inner state of a person. The Semihana of the Mevlevi dervishes is called the Hall of Celestial Sounds, because here the unique sound of the Ilahis, coupled with the semi-vocal breathing of the turners repeating Allah, introduces a spiritual mode that uplifts the participant as well as the listener. Mevlevi music is not made for listening, it is made for participation. We are surrounded by sound each moment of the day. The wind, waves coming to the shore, the hoofbeats of animals. Some are natural and some electronic, cacophonic and disturbing to the psyche, like the sound of fire engines, air conditioners, the tech sounds of our smartphones and computers are interrupting sounds that disturb the harmony necessary for contemplation and breed a state of passivity. The Ilahis open one's heart. Fill it with sacred music that directs you into the harmony of the world. It is not the sound of canned elevator music or shop music attempting to lure you into a state of desire. Mystical music touches your inner being, allowing you to soar towards the meaning of life as a meditation or breathing repetition of the names of God introduces a rhythm of life that erases boredom and loneliness. Mystical music reminds us not to pursue unessential knowledge, but to embrace inner wisdom and a path through the creation that leads to the Creator. 2 bows' length is the closest possible proximity to Allah. And through the night, the Prophet Muhammad rose until he gained a stage of 2 bows' length, never reached or hoped for before. May you all experience 2 bows' length. Assalamu alaikum.